Welcome back to another late live stream of the USL show. Sorry, we started the live stream a little bit late, little tech stuff along the way. It happens. But we're doing some more Crest stuff today, but we have some stuff to cover before we jump into that. But we do have an unfamiliar face, a familiar face. We have a face. Phil, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. Good to be back. Yeah, a little bit of a layoff, so I'm trying to, warm back up, get back into form here, but excited to talk some old school USL. And I'll be honest, this is like a little bit of a cathartic experience going through this, so I'm sure it'll be exciting to talk about.
And to the man to his up, we are seeing one of the newest crest in the U.S. soccer world. We got Ryan with the new Charlotte, but not the new Charlotte FC kit. The other new one, the first new one.
Yeah, the home kit that they had released back a little bit before Christmas. I got mine after. I'm planning on being at the home opener in March when they host the Galaxy, who has recently abandoned their classic kit to go for a more bland one. But this was a interesting trip down memory lane, looking at all these old crests and all the teams that I remember seeing on YouTube broadcasts. And still, the USL Pro is the name of the subreddit for the USL Championship. So it was an interesting trip.
These youngins don't know why it's called USL Pro. Us wily vets get it. We're missing a few characters. You can't see him, but producing the show is Alan. He's in the back room. I don't know if he's going to pop out of hiding or not, but he's here, I promise. Gio is not here because he decided to be good at FIFA. If you're not in the chat, where are you? And he said he won his quarterfinals after it went to overtime, which is, hey, love to hear that. And then John is not here, which is fine. The tactics man is very, very busy. I'm surprised he has time to breathe. So it's fine. But there is a lot to get through. We started late, so we're going to try to run through it. But first, we do have a little bit of USL stuff. We kind of talked a little bit kind of in our group chat about if whether we wanted to cover this or not, or how we wanted to cover it. But if anybody's been around the lower level, or lower league soccer sphere for a minute, that there's some stuff specifically centered around Louisville City and some particular sponsorships and particular donations. If you're not completely aware, one of these guys to my left or below me, or a man who's producing the show right now, they want to jump out and say anything about it and explain the situation, they can. If they don't want to, go check it out. It's not that hard to find. But the floor is open to you, gentlemen, if you have any comments you want to make about it.
I mean, I think the reality is we have seen in recent years, I don't think it's any, with Chick-fil-A specifically and these sponsorships, I think they're pretty widespread in USL, and I can totally see why the questions around like charitable donations, which I know the company has stopped the charitable donations, but the family hasn't necessarily in recent years. So I can absolutely understand why people would want their club to stop supporting those sorts of organizations, because at the end of the day, USL does follow a lot of, they do preach a lot of inclusive, a lot about inclusivity and a lot about just making the game for everybody. And so I totally understand fans calling for those things. And I think the reality in the history of the game, there is a couple of things just seeing like around online of, hey, sports is kind of like how we escape from this stuff and it's how we get away. But the reality is that like soccer has never really been that. When you look at the history of the game, it's always been a place for people to express their beliefs, like express their whether that's political, whether that's national, whatever. It's always been a place to express that. So I don't think it's like, I think it's fitting that at the end of the day, fans want their clubs to represent them. And if the ownership doesn't represent, what the fans support, whether that's, inclusivity and all those things, then I think it's right for them to call for those sorts of changes. And obviously at the end of the day, it's up to the ownership groups to make those decisions and make, whether that money is worth it. But I think we've seen at least one club now in Fort Wayne, like, make a decision to reverse how they were feeling because of the fans. And I think it's right for the fans to exercise those sorts of, and let their opinions be known on this stuff and exert their power a little bit. Cause I think all too often in American sports, it's an owner centric kind of environment. And it's not really, I think we all say it's like football without fans is nothing, or soccer without fans is nothing. And I think the fans have started to show that. So speak your mind. And if that's what you believe, own it. And it's all good by me.
Yeah, I think, my take on it, I think is pretty similar. I think it goes down to what the supporters groups and the supporters of each of these franchises feel about sponsorships and corporate sponsorships. I think NWSL is having a lot of these similar conversations as they get bigger, and some of their sponsors have, not necessarily dubious ties, but you have like Qatar Airlines, you have ownership groups that have people that might not be the best people, versus like, hey, they're committing to our franchise. The Chick-fil-A thing has been going on for a while. And I think if your team or your club or your supporters group is saying one thing and then they're not, you have every right to speak out against it and hold the team accountable and say, we want change. If it doesn't really bother you, or I guess to answer the, I want my sports to sports, my argument to that would be, then all right, just show up and you don't have to be involved in the noise making. But if people want to noise make, I think people should be able to noise make and make their environment welcoming and inclusive. So I think there's a lot of nuance here. And I think it can't be a one size fits all. It can be a collective noise making between a large amount of supporters groups, but I think, we need to take each one based on the community that it's in, what the local groups want to see. And then if the majority of them are on board, and I think that's when folks like us can step in and amplify and tell people stories and educate. But, Alan Underwood on the USL show shouldn't be leading the charge to say, Lou City, you're doing it wrong. Instead it's, hey, there's this groundswell of support in Louisville, and, I support their efforts in making their club what they want it to be. And I think that's my role when it comes to that. Now, in my own city, I think it's different, but, I'm not going to be especially some of these teams that feel very connected to their team. I might feel like an outsider, like a Yankee coming down south and trying to tell people what to do. That doesn't get as much done as supporting the people who are making it happen.
And I think ultimately the ownerships, they need to listen to their fans. They need to have that connection with the fan base. If they disregard any fans' opinions, the ownership doesn't deserve to have those fans' support in the first place. And like Phil was saying, this more so in any other sport, soccer is very much beholden to fans' opinions. And more so than we've seen with a lot of other American sports. And I think it's important that ownership groups have that just open dialogue with their fan base and listen to their fans. If the fans are saying they don't want something there, they should definitely hear them out and listen to their opinions. And if Louisville or any other club isn't going to do that, then that club shouldn't have that support to begin with.
I mean, this kind of conversation is why the U.S. soccer sphere, I think, is so special, because we can have these conversations. I mean, to be honest, I'm a little bit hesitant to talk about this. I mean, and I'm just going to put it out there, like, I am a person who is from the South, who is like, I'm a Southern person who goes to church every Sunday. Like, those are my beliefs. And every single time I go down to BBVA and now Protective Stadium, I am cheering beside someone who is not from around the area, who's openly gay, and that's fine. Like, I don't care. We're here to support the same people, and I support you as a human because, you're a good human being, and I love you for that. This brings us all together. I think where fans might become, or let me back up. I think the issue might become whenever there are fans with a following take on the voice of a fan group, as opposed to saying, I am one voice of this fan group. I think, and I've been guilty of this, and of saying, the voice of the Birmingham Legion fan group, as opposed to saying, I am a voice within the Birmingham Legion. The moment that people start saying, I am the only voice, and start projecting upon, thousands of people, that's when I think it becomes an issue. But no matter what, your ownership should listen to you. And if there's not an open dialogue, that's when you should be worried, which is why we started seeing a lot of issues out of the independents. And that's why they have become like the crown of jewel of not what to be. But there's that, unless you guys have anything else you want to say about it. All right. Well, now that's being said, obviously, if there are more details that come out within the next week, we'll cover it again with some more detail. But right now, it's pretty surface level because we don't know a whole lot other than what's already out there. That said, why are you here? More than likely, probably because you want to talk about these ugly things. The old USL crest. Alan, you want to go pull up these bad boys?
We're processing information because I left one out. So here we go.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do, instead of the discuss every single logo crest, because I know that was a debate last time, we're gonna kind of talk about each tier. The four of us kind of ranked these, and so we're gonna pull up each tier. There are probably some controversial takes. I think Phil, you ranked some low that some of us ranked high, and vice versa. But I think we should probably start with probably the two most controversial crests in this ranking.
They're the two most perfect. Let's just
and we got to start with the original Orlando City with the red mains, and the Lou City 2.0, the new but not too old but not new crest as the starting point. Because I think both of these are beautiful for two distinct reasons. And Phil, I think your head just exploded. We apologize to your family for having to clean that off of the wall behind you. Phil, get us started with your takes on these two.
Where to even begin? Wow, Alan, you've teed this up perfectly because I'm really I don't know. Okay, Orlando City. We'll start with Orlando City because this crest is genuinely unhinged. Like it's insane. It's some sort of lab experiment gone horribly wrong that's created this like Siamese triplet lion joined at the mane, 3 separate heads, and gosh, I really don't even know I really don't even know what else to say. Like it's a monstrosity in like every sense of the word. And I don't like the typeface. I don't like, I mean, the shape is like it's like a police badge. And yeah, the whole thing is just bizarre. And I can't really wrap my head around it. I'm afraid if I keep talking about it, we can talk about Lou City in a second, but I need to just like probably stop there.
I think it's something unique. I mean, this is something that you would pick out of England. I mean, we're going to talk about bizarre crests. Look across all of England. There are some bizarre crests across all of it. Burnley's crest, it looks weird, and they play in the Premier League. And I think even beyond just the crest design, you have red and purple, which is like two colors you don't often see paired together for a professional sports franchise. I know they're playing off the Three Lions motif from England, but I think this is at least a very unique crest and something that you wouldn't think would come out of an American sports franchise, and something I think they should have kept, or at least kept the three-headed lion motif. It reminds me of the dog that guards the river Styx from Greek mythology.
Here's the thing. You're talking about looking at English crest. I mean, the closest thing I can think of is the whole city meth tiger thing. I mean, but there's three of them, and it's red and purple. Red and purple go well if you do a gradient, but I love it. I love it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, it's like almost to the point of so bad it's good again. Like
the room of
I was
USL
gonna say,
creds.
are we talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, Orlando Tommy Wiseau's, is that the?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Like hello, dog. Like, oh hi, Mark. Like, yeah, it's. But it's one of those ones where it's like iconic. You see it and you imagine, you like immediately know what it is. The people who've been following the league like have an emotional connection to a time, like a simpler time, when the USL was like a burgeoning league. It's like compared to the one next to it, I think this is like the juxtaposition of these two, right? Like Orlando City by itself is one thing, but you put it next to this Lou City badge, and it's like you kind of get like a little bit nostalgic for the first one, and then you're like, okay, but then this one I like the Lou City one I liked because it was like everyone became like a graphic designer when that thing was launched. Everyone had a different rebrand they were all better. Like every single one of them were all better than this, like a triangle with 5 sides, I think. A 5-sided triangle with the first part. Like this Lou City is like everything wrong with a badge that you can possibly come up with. Let's all put it into one, and then that's what we're going with.
You mean the circle of stars that doesn't completely fit onto its surface area like the Bosnia and Herzegovina flag?
Yeah.
Yes. And then like the going away from the gold and a simpler time when we couldn't afford graphic designers.
No, this is what happens when you have like when you hire a firm and they just like they have a bunch of like focus group tested ideas that all make it in. That's like they like the stars, they like the fleur-de-lis, they like the gray, they like the black, they like the purple. I don't know. We got to make it work like somehow. This crest is insane. I can't believe that this actually made it out like for public consumption. Sacramento Kings, LA Kings, like worst nightmares all came to life in this.
And then it's like they went to like Lou City. Do we still call them Lou City? Or are they back to Louisville? Like I call them Lou City from time to time to like embrace this like memory of this thing, because I don't think they're still called Lou City anymore. But like this was like the attempt to like even rebrand what we call them. Yeah. And it was like it's like let's forget that happened. They wish they had the Men in Black little like thing like. There was a gas leak. We're really sorry.
Lou Bega City.
Well,
Mambo number
if
5.
you shortened it to Lou City, it would be like if you took the Manchester City crest and dropped Chester off of it and just had the crest be Man City. I mean, I know they do that for their third kits this year, but that's still like that's part of the identity that they were changing, and the crest just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
I'm searching like crazy to find it right now, but I think it was either last year or 2 years ago. It had to have been last year that Legion put out a rebranding, and it was just the Lou City kit, or was this a new Lou City crest? But they put like the Vulcan's butt on it, which Vulcan is one of the monuments in town. And I love the Lou City crest purely because I love the memories attached to it. Like, if you look at my personal rankings on things, you see a lot of nostalgia. Like, if I have good rankings, if I have good feelings attached to it, even if it's a bad crest, I put it up there. I have no fonder memories than USL Twitter when the Lou City branding dropped, because it was immediately all the Lou City people were like, no, please, no. And then immediately everybody posting new stuff. And then within days, the people were buying shirts. People wanted to buy it because they knew it wasn't going to stay. They wanted the retro stuff that was only around for 2 weeks. And then Lou City was like, please bring it back. Please don't wear that anywhere. Please bring it back. We'll give you something else for free. Please don't wear it anywhere. I love it so much.
Yeah. It's also the most cohesive USL Twitter fans have been since like hating on Cincinnati. Like, I think it was a little bit of that nostalgia too, of like, we're all in this together. Sorry, Kaylor. So let's move on.
Well, the only
Yeah,
one
Phil.
last thing that I want to say is that for both of these, like, they are similar because I really want to know what the decision making was like for either of these crests. I want to have been in the room when each of these decisions were made, similar to, I wish I had been in the room when they had the production meeting that said 50 Cent will start his part of the Super Bowl halftime show upside down.
It took me a minute. I realized, I was like, oh, they're doing the music video, but God.
It was a morbid fascination. That's all it was. Like, so similarly, I just want to know, like, who was the guy who said, no, 3 lion heads, one facing, each direction, 2 profiles, 1 forward. Like, I just want to know. Like, I have this morbid curiosity.
Well, maybe there's going to be a documentary in the future about the making of this Orlando City badge, and we'll get that answer for you, Phil.
A lot of drugs.
Yeah, so next is our F tier. So what I did basically was F got 0 points, and then took the average and then rounded to the nearest whole number. So there's some crests that were definitely like a lot of least favorites. But ironically, the Sounders 2 is the only crest to receive 0 points on average. And I think that's about right.
It's kind of surprising because now looking at them all side by side, I kind of like it a little bit.
No take backsies.
I mean,
You like the Sounders one?
I mean, compared to the other two, I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's better than the other two involved.
Longtime listeners of the show know Pony was a big hater on the Sounders 2 logo, and I could see what they're going for. It's the outline, and arguably across MLS, it's one of the more iconic outlines of a crest, but like, that's it. That's like, there's nothing to this logo. It took them like 10 minutes to probably do this in Microsoft Paint.
Is that Arial? Like, I think it's Arial font.
This Sounders 2 logo crest is the reason why so many of them, the other ones, I gave D's because they were not nearly as bad as the Sounders 2 crest. I think that's why there's so many that aren't an F, is because I was like, no, this one's better than Sounders. Yep, nope, this one's better than Sounders. So congratulations to the two teams, or these two teams, for failing the cheapest logo ever. Yeah, easy to print. You just get a green t-shirt and some like white printing. Yeah. Brilliant. It's like when you're on a budget and you're trying to like make a tour t-shirt or a band t-shirt. This is the way to go. 2 colors, cheap. Here we go. Beautiful. All right. A little nostalgia for the old Revs.
graffiti flag.
Yeah, a little nostalgia for the Revs, for sure. So let's move up to D tier. I think this is where we're gonna have some fun conversations about just general terribleness. We got the Pen 15 flag, or the Pen 15 crest, Arizona United, Charlotte Eagles, the Dayton Dutch Ovens, FC Cincinnati, half of Miami FC, North Texas, Orlando City B, the Phoenix FC, Chattanooga Red Wolves that's what it should be. Puerto Rico United, Sevilla, Puerto Rico, I believe. I had to actually Google that one. Toronto 2, Tampa Bay FC, Whitecaps FC 2, the USL Pro logo, FC New York, and Carpe Diem, the River Plate, Puerto Rico. Any of those speaking to you as ones you need to highlight?
I just want to say 2011 USL was weird. We had a league with 3 teams in Puerto Rico, and the same division was the team that we'll mention later in the broadcast that is one of my favorites, and the LA Blues, all in the same division of 2011 USL. But the Penn FC logo looks like a stopwatch.
Oh my God, I found it. Hold on. I finally found the picture. Okay, hold on. I'm posting it to the USL Twitter. Hold on. Anyway, I'm so sorry. I was just so excited. I couldn't believe I actually found it. You know, the FC Cincy, I mean, obviously I'm wearing it. I have wonderfully fond memories of going to those matches, and that probably influenced me a little bit. I really miss the original Knifey Lion. The OG Knifey Lion is better than Gary. Sorry Gary, but the OG Knifey Lion is just so good.
I'm a little bit sad that Whitecaps aren't higher, because those are clearly mountains. And based on our previous conversation,
to John's USL show crest,
which is
that's essentially what it is,
right? Which that's what makes that USL logo great. It was accidentally a Whitecaps 2 logo. To answer Andy's question, why is Bold not a D? Austin Bold received an average of 1.5, and so it got rounded up. So that was like an in-betweener. There's quite a few like in-betweeners, could be C, could be D, and I just wanted to give them teams the benefit of the doubt. Otherwise, we'd have 84 Ds.
I think you guys have been kind to most of these, because to me, at least half of these are Fs. Arizona United is like a shockingly bad crest, in my opinion.
It's not good. I mean,
I will go back to, none of these are as bad as S2. So like I was like, this is a little bit better. It was like
crazy that Whitecaps 2 cleared that bar with essentially the same, with just a little dash of something.
That little dash is what got it over the line, and because the little dash were mountains. Like, I was trying to be consistent with some prior rankings.
I mean, I'm convinced that the VSI Tampa Bay logo would remind you of like an early mid 2000s software that would come on your laptop. That your first search would be, how can I remove this icon from my desktop?
It's true. It's really, I mean, there's like, yeah, I don't know, man. Some of these too, like, I think what the one that strikes me as like really, really crazy, aside from, you have like these top tier logos, as far as I'm concerned, like Sevilla, River Plate are like amazing, iconic logos that, because they were, appropriated or whatever, like they don't get any points. But also in this tier have the likes of FC New York, who have gone for some sort of like classic English style badge that inexplicably just has a soccer ball like sticking out of the bottom of it, where they've gone for this really clean, like, yeah, we're gonna do this like really old school badge, and then they just put a soccer ball on it and just ruin the whole thing.
So much like Austin Bold, New York FC was average 0.5. So this one barely made it. This was like the kid who's trying really hard and has like a 59.4, and you feel bad for them and you give them a D and hopefully pass them. D's get degrees apparently in high school. Yeah, there's some pretty interesting ones in here. For me, like, yeah, that one's fun. The Tampa Bay one was interesting because it's like you have to like zoom in and like really like try to read that. It doesn't like scream Tampa Bay to you versus some of the other ones. But I mean, yeah, these are all kind of not great. All right. Welcome back, Kayla.
Thanks.
Moving on to our C's get degrees. So we are now passing if we are trying to get into a California state school. Is a small group that include Austin Bold, Fresies Football Club, the other Austin Aztecs, FC Montreal, the Ontario Fury, the outdoor one, and the Riverhounds. So here are our C-level badges, and some of these I think some of them were ranked higher than others. And again, I see Phil giggling, and Kayla, you look like you're ready to pounce. Oh, no giggles from Phil. No giggles from Phil. Kayla, you look like you want to pounce on some of these. No?
Yes. Two things. Let me just throw out there. The Fury's S tier. Sorry. It's just true. I have so many fond memories of it. And look, I get that it's not this big flashy crest, but God, it looks good on everything. There's not a single bad thing that this crest looks bad. There's not a single thing this crest looks bad on. It's just a good look. I like the little bit of flame. I like that it's nice and clean. I enjoy that. And I'm just going to throw it out there. If you take it off a shield and you put it on a circle, Montreal is just St. Louis. So people that put them in different categories, you're being tricked by just whatever you have fond memories that you have of St. Louis, because they're the same thing. They're the same exact.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. One's a circle, the other one's a shield. What's the difference?
Fury.
One of them has slightly different colors. They're both a Fury surrounded by stripes and a name right there in the middle of it. It's the same thing.
No, okay. We're gonna start with Fury. So Fury is Fuego 1.0. That's like their Fuego 1.0, and Fuego 2.0 wasn't good either. So Fury's like middling for me. But the second is that FC Montreal has that little banner with FC Montreal. That makes all the difference. St. Louis's handling of the fleur-de-lis stripe is so much beyond whatever's going on with FC Montreal. So that's all. And then somehow, and I'm sure Ryan has something to do with this, but how's Riverhounds in C tier? Like how have we made it?
I don't know. I think it's more unique and just like different designs in a league that's filled with just like crests and shields. We need to have different outlines and different designs of logos, and that's more of a more classic branding that's stuck within USL for quite some time.
It's actually my fault. I gave them a B. So I have a rule. I'm gonna dovetail, goose walk, whatever that thing's called. I have a rule. So my band has to play outside because we cannot play inside because we don't have things to put over our instruments to keep like air from circulating inside. So we play outside, and I have one rule for my students, and that is if you're going to be distracted by things that are happening, because we practice right by the parking lot, the only thing that you're allowed to get distracted by and interrupt class for is a dog. Like, that's it. Because I love dogs. And the ones that people bring to school, like in their cars, are usually like the super friendly puppies. They try to jump out me at the window. So I have a soft spot for dogs, especially ones that are unattractive. Like all three of my dogs, well, one of them's super cute. The other two, they are like not cute at all. So this was like, if my dog was a USL crest, it would be this Riverhounds crest. So again, totally like I get why this is probably not a great crest. It's like a bad cartoon. It's like the Domino's pizza guy was a dog. Right? He has like a mask with the ears in the mask, which is weird to me as well. So like, yes, there are plenty of reasons why this is wrong, but it's a pups. The Aztecs, I think of Tex-Mex, and that's gross. I live in San Diego. We have real Mexican food here. Ontario Fury, I rated low because there is an indoor soccer team in California that, as a San Diego soccer supporter, I actually have to hate. So Ontario Fury brings up bad memories. And then Fres, yes, it's fine. It's Fresno. Who can hate Fresno? Well, I guess some people can hate Fresno. Then Austin was kind of a 1.5. Not great.
There were legitimate people who had Austin in S tier. And that confuses me. What about it is S tier?
I don't think it's S tier, but I do think it's, incorporating the Capitol building, Lone Star.
What?
You got there's something going on here.
Where's the Capitol building?
And also
That's
the
the-
Aztecs.
That's
There's
the
two
Capitol
Austin-
building
no.
behind
Oh,
the
that's
silhouette
of
of the
The
state Capitol
Aztecs,
building.
and there's Bold. So we have two Austin clubs at this level.
Sorry, I meant Bold. I totally meant Bold.
Oh,
I
okay.
forgot.
I agree that Bold's not nothing special to me. I don't think.
I totally forgot we had two Austins, and I'm looking at the screen.
It would have been
Yeah,
better if they made it into a shield and put a thing, like a script thing in front of it that said Austin, I think. And then it would have been Montreal instead of St. Louis, right? Like
only if you put stripes and a fleur-de-lis around it.
Well, I mean, they're both like French, right? So like there's that connection. St. Louis versus Montreal.
Also, this is a little bit really off topic, but let's just agree that whoever decides to start calling it Louis instead of Louis, I hate them. Like, it'd be so much better if it was just St. Louis. Like, that's such a better name, St. Louis. I mean, Lewis is Lewis. I hate it. Makes me mad.
We're Americans. We say Louis. That's Louis, not
Louis.
Louis.
Yeah, that's
Not that-
that's
Louis
my
Stevens.
People called them freedom fries for a while. Let's be realistic about where we live. But yes, St. Louis. I do this every time there's a song called St. Louis Blues or St. Louis Blues. It's a great little tune. Louis Armstrong plays on it. But yes, St. Louis, fine, I get it. But I mean, it's like trying to pronounce New Orleans correctly. I don't think that's going to happen. So let's move on to our parents are happy, but not as happy as they would have been if we got A's. This is our B tier. There are lots of fish in this one. Lots of sea creatures. So we have OKC Energy, the Hammerheads with the one shark, the old school Charleston Battery, the original Switchbacks, not the black, but with the color, Lansing Ignite, Reno 1868, Tacoma Defiance, the Rochester Rhinos, Tulsa Roughnecks, Nashville Soccer Club, and the Barracuda, which ironically is placed right below the Hammerheads, which really reinforces that those are almost the same logo. Ryan, this is our first trip down nostalgia lane with the Hammerheads. We'll get another one in a little bit. Why this one in B and not the why is this one not as good?
I have more memories of the modern one, but like with this one, it seems just more like old school, and I just always felt it was weird to have that outline of the soccer ball underneath the shark when you have the stripes already in the background. I feel like it would have looked better if you removed that somewhat outline of the soccer ball and just had the shark bigger within the crest. It was a weird time in USL that we had a bunch of clubs who decided to have a soccer ball like across all of their crest, almost like it was a requirement to be part of the logo. Oh, but I will say on this level, well, like Antigua is like pretty much the same. Like there are two crests here, like Antigua and Rochester, where they're destroying the soccer ball for some reason. Like the San Jose Sharks logo in the NHL is destroying the hockey sticks for some reason.
See, here's the thing with the Rhinos, and this is why I've always hated it. The way that they've done the horn, it makes it look like the horn is being crushed by the soccer ball. Like the little line that's there, it's always looked like the horn has been smushed, which makes me think that it's a weak rhino that needs to be drinking more milk.
Yeah, I agree, Ryan, with your take on the Hammerheads. I think Andy put in the chat the last time we talked about this was like how would people know if it's a soccer team if there's no soccer ball? There's a lot of crests that are like, yeah, we're a soccer team. We got to throw a soccer ball in there. It's like, do you really? Like the people who are watching your team are probably already know that you're a soccer team. There are a lot of vertical.
Think how smart Southerners are.
No comment. No comment. I'm not walking into that one. There's a lot of vertical lines in this one, which I appreciate. It's very slimming. I like, OKC, Hammerheads, Charleston Battery, Switchbacks, Barracuda, like even like the sash of Nashville in the middle, which I think are like supposed to be like guitar strings or something. I think my favorite one of all of these is got to be Tacoma Defiance, like a 2-team that really went for a brand new look, and I loved it. And then Lansing Ignite, I think I have to like because there are four people involved in that team that now are coaching and or playing in San Diego. And then Tulsa, I wish it was the even older one, but we had to go with the most recent one. These are pretty solid. Phil?
I was just gonna say, I think Nashville like sticks out because their current logo was such a downgrade from this. Like, in my opinion, I think like they should have stuck with something at least close to this. The N is unique, like the outline, for a round crest, it's got like a lot going on. So I just don't get why they changed or felt the need to change.
But they added that really cool. They added that really cool song. So doesn't that make up for it?
I mean, if it works for them, I guess. Also, I think of these like now defunct or whatever, however you want to approach the teams, I think OKC and Reno actually, like OKC's is an underrated crest in my opinion, because there is a ton going on that is totally unique. Like there's not really a crest like this elsewhere. Does it look like Soviet propaganda from like the mid 1970s? Potentially. But I'm kind of into it. I don't know. And then Reno's more subtle, but I think Reno's is like, it's a low-key good crest. So I actually think I think a couple of these were overrated for me, and Charleston is the one that sticks out as and Wilmington's single shark approach. I don't know. These were a little bit lower down in my book because the Battery's original there's just it's yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. Let's just say their crest upgrade or their crest change was a big upgrade. Nashville's big downgrade. So I guess we'll go with that. And Reno has mountains, as Andy pointed out. So automatic win in Phil's book, obviously.
I like it.
That's what I was gonna. Andy beat me to it. I was gonna add like, is Reno's low key good because of the mountains?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's basically it. Like,
Yeah.
to any designers out there, if you're looking to impress me, you know what to do.
I have a couple things in here. I think the Nashville SC USL was a downgrade from their NPSL, which I loved the Nashville FC one, which is very similar, except it was, to be honest, the Nashville FC looked kind of like a Pokeball, and I kind of liked it. It had the two-tone was a little bit easier to see. The middle of it was yellow, and there was the Fury in there, which I really don't know what the connection between Nashville and that is, but I liked it. I mean, the guitar strings are fine. If they want to change the guitar strings, I would have been cool with it. But I really liked it when the middle of it was yellow. I'm going to get massacred by people from Oklahoma, but Tulsa's and Oklahoma Energy, OKC, they're pretty similar crest. They look similar to me. I think it's because of the vertical lines on the Energy. It looks like the stilt things in my mind. And to me, they just look similar. And and we have an Ignite connection on the show, and I wish you would have been here. Greenville Triumph's first ever match at home was against Lansing. So Gio was at, the first game of the last season of the Ignite. So there's a little bit of a connection there.
Yeah, the Ignite one, I originally thought, like when I saw it, was like, oh, it's like a sun rising up over like a pyramid. Maybe they have like a pyramid there. I'm like, nope, that's a spark plug. Never mind. I'm dumb. I think the thing that bugs me about OKC is kind of like the asymmetrical star kind of weirds me out a little bit. Like it's hard to kind of see when you look at it, but it's like what's the word I'm looking for? Like the perspective isn't quite right. It's like three-dimensional, but like it's like three-dimensional. Like if I would try to draw something three-dimensional, right? I think that's what kind of throws me off. It just feels a little bit unbalanced. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. I am nowhere close to OCD. Like you see my record collection. It's a hot mess of like, if I was OCD, it'd be all perfectly straight and they probably would fit in there. But it just like there's something about it that bugs me. I do appreciate like the color scheme. And it says Energy instead of OKC, but the Charleston Battery one, it is a clear upgrade to their new logo. Like this one feels a little bit like this was like elementary school, middle school, like we hadn't quite grown up yet, so it was like a little cartoony. Like we have some cute cannons and a soccer ball. Like the other one feels like we should take it seriously.
Like serious,
I can't tell because the screen is small, but the battery very well may be Comic Sans.
And Alan with OKC, it's the off-putting vibe of Energy's crest is exactly why I like it.
All right,
I like how uncomfortable it makes me feel.
I mean, it's how I feel about their green and pink kits. I hate them so much that I borderline like them a little bit.
I feel like we're learning more about each other as we go.
Absolutely.
I always thought the Tacoma Defiance logo looked like it would be like the album cover for like an indie rock band, and that like needed something for like a cover, like rather than a soccer club. I like the design. I think it looks neat. It's just it looks like it'd be a rock band's album cover.
I mean, you might not be wrong. It screams Kansas to me. Like it would be like a Kansas album cover. Like, Point of No Return. It's a sailboat going off the end. All you need is like some like tentacles, and you have Point of No Return by Kansas. A pretty decent album, if I do say so myself.
Did you
Point of No Return? Were
you involved in that album, Alan?
Dust in the Wind is on this album.
If I do say so myself.
If I do say so myself, this is quite a good album.
Royalties just by talking about it.
It's got 4.5 stars out of 821 reviews on Amazon. Good. So you know that it's just like everything else on Amazon that has 4.5 stars because I think everything does. But yeah, the point of no return. I mean, dust in the wind. Like, I mean, come on, point of no return. How long? Digga 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 digga. Yeah, I mean, Kansas, man. Very mediocre white guy band.
Are we getting cuts of your paycheck from them, or
no?
Your favorite local soccer and Kansas podcast?
Let me tell you guys. Let me break them. I don't know enough about Kansas to do that. The state or the band. So to wrap it up, there was only one kind of consensus S tier. So I'm just gonna do top tier. This is A and the one logo that received the S tier. I would say drum roll, please, but I'm not sure everyone's super excited. And I guess if it wasn't S tier, we would probably get the most hate on Twitter if it wasn't. So here is our top tier. In A, we have the St. Louis. We have Swope Park Rangers, OC Blues, the Wilmington Hammerheads with 2 sharks. You can actually see that they're hammerheads. The City Islanders, Bethlehem Steel, and in the S tier is the correct Louisville City logo.
I mean, come on, Ryan. Tell us, why are 2 sharks better than 1 shark?
It just looks more like, I like that you can actually tell it's more like 2 hammerhead sharks are part of the logo. I like the design with hammerheads across the front. I think it makes it a lot better. It's an improvement upon what came before it, but I guess we should talk about the island and the city in the room right now with the God tier City Islanders crest.
Pin Island.
It, like if the Flint Tropics from Will Ferrell's Semi-Pro was a soccer club.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm like. I'm constantly torn between giving this like bonus points for flying in the face of logic or negative points. Like, and it like, it's not that they went with the City Islanders, but the fact that they leaned into, like, as you said, the tropical vibe when you're talking about Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Like, it's
and they
just,
did
there's
play
a
on an
level,
island in the city.
There's a level of cognitive dissonance that occurs that just like really, it really impacted me, and not in a good way, like OKC. So yeah, it takes me back to a simpler time of USL though. So that I definitely do appreciate this logo.
Again, to shout back the comment, I think John Fuller put, simpler times equals not having graphic designer. I'm mad that they didn't go far enough with this logo. Like I'm thinking like airbrush t-shirts where it has that little like sparkle of like light hitting in this. Like if it was like a light blue, like a little psst, psst, psst in all of the letters, like that to me would have been like, I just don't think they go far enough. Like this is like, I'm gonna make a RuPaul Drag Race reference, but like when you see something and it's like, that's good, but you could have been better and been amazing. I think that's what's disappointing about the City Islanders. Like it's just missing that like extra airbrush, maybe like a little bit more of the background behind the City Islanders, and definitely like the highlight of the light hitting it would have been. I love the St. Louis Crest. I love it. I'm sad that they're going to different color schemes. Like to me, this was one of the first crests that I was like, that is a sharp crest. And I liked it, and it almost made me want to root for St. Louis. I mean, part of it is because Phil Grooms is awesome. So, I mean, hey, there's that. And then OC Blues, I got crap for picking Orange County as a not great logo, and I said I like this one better. So if I didn't rate this one high, I probably would have also gotten stick from Andy. But this one, the first USL game I went to was a OC SE game, and I remember seeing this logo on someone's scarf and be like, "What is that? That is awesome! That is amazing!" It has the appropriate amount of palm tree beach vibe for, but it's weird because Irvine is definitely not that vibe. But if you go over the hill, you're in, definitely are. And then I like the Bethlehem Steel one, but again, I think that's more like nostalgia for when I first started listening to the USL show, and Bethlehem Steel was like the team that you wanted to see do well. It was a bunch of young kids that were great. And then again, I have a lot of love for Evan Volala. And so I know how much he loved this logo, and it was sad to see this team leave. And then Lou City, I think, maybe just is there so we don't get hate mail.
Yeah. Well,
I just love OC Blue. Like, I love Orange County Blues because the again, in the room when they said, like, hey, what if we went with a color for the team name like that isn't orange? Like, we just Orange County is in the name, Orange County Blues. Like, that's unbelievable. And I wish I had like that same sort of brain, because like someone leaning into that idea, I would have been in the room like, dude, orange is in the name of the place, and you're gonna like lean on a different color. It's genius.
orange.
Well, they were
candy.
originally the Los Angeles Blues, and then branded themselves to Orange County, similar
Right.
in the same manner that the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim tossed in Anaheim to make it more local as another team local to the Southern California area. I almost think that the City Islanders and the OC Blues logo needs to combine.
See, here's the thing. I have this one fond memory of the City Islanders, and it's just, if you watched one of their matches, I think it still happens, but especially back whenever USL was on YouTube, you only got local commercials. You didn't get anything specific for your area. It was only local commercials. And Dauphin County, in which they play in, the only reason I know this is because of these commercials. They had a Dauphin County Dolphin who would forcibly make people recycle and be like, and let me tell you, the FC Cincinnati Discord, I'm pretty sure if you go there now, there's still the dolphin emoji, because they would show it at least 7 times a match. And as soon as the dolphin would come on, the Discord would start spamming dolphins. It was this, in one way or another, I'm going to find the Dolphin City or the Dauphin County Dolphin. I love that thing. And they would just like force people to retire. It would like take bottles and just slam it into the recycling bin and then just stare at you. And it was fantastic. The other thing
did you recycle?
Not in Dauphin County or Dauphin City, wherever, but
then not a good commercial.
Not well. See, here's the other thing with the City Islanders. That particular crest logo thing. You definitely buy that same car decal the same place you bought your air painted or your airbrushed Monster shirt. You know, like you got it the same place. You walk in, you buy the decal, put it on the back of your car. You walk out with the same energy drink spray painted t-shirt, and you leave and you have a great time at the beach. It's just what you do. I mean, Swope Park. I mean, that's just nostalgia, but I like it. It's just nice. Maybe I'm misremembering, but do the Philadelphia Union ever use red in their branding at all? Because God, they should. What Bethlehem still just showed me is that the Union should have red.
My whole beef with Bethlehem Steel, I think it's mostly just bitterness of the fact that they like resurrected this, iconic, like, the OGs of US soccer, to make them an MLS2 side that died like 2 years after they brought it back. It's like, it just didn't do justice to the name. So I think I put too much of the actual, like, I didn't judge the logo based on the logo. I judged it off of like poor decision making. And then, yeah, I think like each of the stripe crests in here, I always like a crest that kind of creates a club's identity, like kit wise too, where it kind of goes through all of the kits. Where, I mean, St. Louis is the most obvious one, I think, where, the green and blue vertical stripes, it's just like, it just is St. Louis FC. And so I always love when those kind of through lines like are just consistent, and create that identity. So that's what makes some of these like top tier for me. And then, I think the elephant in the room is the fact that this Lou City logo is S tier because there's so many elements done in such a good way, like incorporating the shape of the barrel like into the skyline. They get a fleur-de-lis in there, which apparently is also important in our USL like in our USL crest rankings. But yeah, I think what's most shocking about the Louisville City one is the fact that, again, not dissimilar to the Nashville downgrade, it's like, at what point did we decide that this needed to be changed?
You know, I wasn't the whole reason for the change that they couldn't find gold that matched the crest to their kits. Wasn't that like the only reason? I mean,
Or were they
Blue
trying to
City-
distance themselves from the former era of Orlando City, which is where a lot of that original look came from? I
just-
think.
it looks so good. And I think if Blue City had originally branded with the current branding they have, it would have been fine. I would have been okay with it. But this one was so much better. So much better.
Well, that's why they went back, right?
I mean,
At least
well,
they tried to.
they they could have just gone back. The one thing with St. Louis, I love that color of blue and green together. I wish that would have been those exact colors that OKC had. Because their color, the blue and green OKC has, is just a little bit off, and I think St. Louis did it right.
Yeah, the LAOC thing is always like very touchy. Like San Diego, Orange County, LA, they're like essentially like three different states that all kind of dislike each other. But I will die on this hill. LA Angels are the original team in Los Angeles. They played at Chavez Ravine before moving to Anaheim. So the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim is actually factually and historically accurate. They are the Los Angeles Angels who happen to play in Anaheim. The OC Blues, yeah, that is funny. Like, if you're gonna change from LA to OC to like make a connection to your local soccer community, because I mean, that's got to be the reason. Like take the opportunity just to do it all, right? Like, why keep the Blues there when you're already changing the name from LA to OC? Like, just go all in. Go all in. Yeah, the Orange County Blues of Los Angeles, Irvine. I really liked how they had a blue kit this year, as like a nod to both maybe that team and also their connections to Rangers. I really appreciated that. I hope they continue to do that because I think that pays homage to their history, and plus it's a fun color to see on a pitch. But yeah, there's a lot of really fun stuff in here and a lot of variety of things that we enjoyed. I think I messed up the rankings a little bit because I didn't give anyone S tier. I put Lou City 2.0 and Orlando OG in an S tier. So I think I kind of skewed some rankings. But Lou City was 4.5, St. Louis was 4, and the rest of them were kind of 3.5. So there's a little bit of difference in some of these, but the ones that aren't around anymore because they don't exist make me sad. I think the one that makes me the saddest is Swoke Park Rangers. They did the opposite of Tacoma Defiance, where they took something that was kind of iconic and unique to that team, and they're like, no, we're just going to call them SKC2. It's like, boo, poop.
That was legitimately named after where they played. They played at Swope Park. I thought that was such great branding. I mean, if we're going to talk about like teams that have more of a Rangers look, this is the side that has the look of Rangers from Scotland, even straight down to the name. Like, you have the interlocking letters for the team. This was such iconic branding, and it brought them to a USL title game. And they got there again with the same branding, and then they've completely dropped it.
I also like how it's a chubby shield, so I feel like I've been seen. So those are our rankings. You can tell us how terribly wrong we are in all of our Twitter feeds. Mine is USL Pony
Poor Pony. About to get a lot of unnecessary hate. Well, somewhat unnecessary. Man, I mean, I love going back and looking at these. Like I said, every single time I look at that, the City Islanders, it just reminds me of the Dauphin County Dolphin, which, if you're not in the Discord, I'm about to post it in there for everybody to see. I love that Dolphin. I love everything about that Dolphin for no other reason of how aggressive he was with recycling. And I just respect that. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I know we keep doing crests, and you know what? Kits are coming soon. Legion are officially announcing their new kit on Friday. I will be there for the reveal, so that'll be fun. I'm super stoked to see, because this will be the first time Legion will have a non-red diamond kit since we were in the NPSL/PDL. So we'll see what that looks like.
Yeah, we got some preseason soccer happening, streaming through also updates through Twitter. So it's getting pretty close to the start of the season. Hopefully your teams are performing up to the level of your expectation, whatever that may be. Remember, results don't matter.
Ryan.
As long as people are healthy and you know, it's the process, not the results, as a famous coach in San Diego says all the time in every single interview when you ask him how the game went. But you know, it's right around the corner. We're getting closer and closer, and I know I'm stoked. I saw some live soccer past Saturday, and it was great. It was not Vancouver Whitecaps too, so I was sad I didn't get to see the Mountains, but we got to see the big club. And yeah, I'm stoked. It's right around the corner, guys.
So I guess are we going to call these our final words for the show then? Alan, do you have any other non-soccer words for this show, or is that it?
Yeah, I just want to encourage people to recycle, or I will come to their house and punch them in the face.
Fair enough. Ryan.
I guess that I'm really excited for the Batman movie coming out in a month. It's on its way, and I'm excited to see Robert Pattinson's take on the character to keep with at least one comic book or nerdy movie franchise per episode.
I do have a quick question about that one. Will they also tell the origin story again? Because I think everyone forgot, because we haven't seen that in literally every other Batman movie.
It'll be during his first year as being Batman, so it remains to be seen. And it's also a 3-hour film, so.
I'm excited to see the relationship between Batman and his parents, and how that plays out into his older years. No, on a soccer note, I on a soccer note, I just wanted to say that Locomotive made a move today that's really cool. Ander Egaluz, who is an Athletic Bilbao product, who is also American, like Boise, Idaho, but also from the Basque Country. There's a large Basque population in Boise, and La Liga did a documentary on him a couple of years ago, so check that out, just in terms of like an interesting new addition to USL. And then on a non-soccer note, I'm able to fully retire from Twitter because I got retweeted by Chance the Rapper today. So later, everybody. I'm going out on top. You know, heavyweight champion of the world. See you guys later.
I didn't realize that we were
You're
in the
stuck with
same.
me.
Didn't realize we were in the same room as a celebrity. My bad,
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, yeah.
You're new host of the.
It's only a
USL.
matter of time.
Let's see. Soccer. I get to see live soccer on Sunday. Oh my God, we're playing Atlanta United, and I'm so stoked. This is the first time I'm going to see the new stadium. I'm super pumped about that. So happy to finally see it. I've missed it with all of my heart. Non-soccer, and this might end up become a discussion, but I don't know. But I just want to throw it out there because it's been bothering me. So after the Super Bowl, it was very well noted. I'm a Bengals fan. So I was very upset about the result, and I was slightly intoxicated. So in order to make myself feel better, I started throwing on some music. And on the shuffle came through, Devil Went Down to Georgia. And I sat there and I really thought about it. The Devil won. I don't care. I know that we're supposed to feel good for Johnny because he's the good guy and not Satan. But Johnny's fiddle solo sucked. It sucked. I'm sorry. You go back and listen to it. The Devil's band group sounded so much better. Chicken in the bread, picking out dough. Granny, does your dog bite? No child. What? No. It makes no sense. It's dumb. And all it does is just play the same fiddle solo that's been playing the entire time. That's not winning. That's Stockholm syndrome. Also, no, the Devil did win. I am sorry. It's just the truth. Also, the Devil was the judge. No one else was judging. No, the Devil sat there and decided to be truthful and say, here's this golden fiddle. And for your, no, I'm sorry. The Devil lost. The Devil lost. Or the Devil won. God dang it.
The Devil Went Down to Georgia. The Devil Went Down to Georgia is a video game, and the Satan is a NP whatever, and the guy was always going to win because you pressed all the right buttons, and he has to let you have that golden fiddle. I don't think there was any other option. I think this is a poorly written video game where it doesn't matter how bad you do, you are always going to win that golden fiddle because you need it for the quest later.
If you go back and listen to it, the entire time the Devil was playing, I was just like, like the band of demons joined in. And I was like, this is awesome. Also, little music thing. I mean, the Devil was playing like this solo in a diminished key. No one does that. Okay, great. Johnny played something in D major. So does every other string player. Congratulations. He played a major scale. I can do that. The Devil was better. The Devil was better. I just had to get it off my chest. I had to tell at least 4 people.
I mean, I must teach my music appreciation kids this tomorrow. I think like just play that video. Like, guys, I think this is the best argument about a country music song ever. And so the Devil apparently won.
The Devil is good.
The Devil is good. He is a darn fine fiddler.
He may be a bad guy, but bad guys are good at things sometimes.
Move over, Roya Cuff. Here comes the Devil. That's a deep cut for the old country fans, because there's probably none of you listening.
That's it. That's the show. That's the show. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you're still listening, I'm going to get bullied on Twitter for the next forever, and I'm right. That's just all that matters. Maybe Chance the Rapper will retweet me for my take. I doubt it. But thank you, everybody, for listening. If you're watching live, thank you so much for being in the chat. We're closer and closer to soccer season. We have a lot of fun stuff planned. Let's keep this interaction. Let's keep this thing going on Twitter. Let's keep this rolling. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening and watching. Until next time, guys, it's been the USL